Hi fashion lovers, it is how to fix zip and that on skirt, alright? Beginner's course. And if you have not joined my WhatsApp group, please do join, okay? The link is on my channel, alright? If you have any questions, send it to my WhatsApp. And in this video, it is how to sew your dart and zip as a beginner, alright? How to put zip on your clothes, okay? Now first thing, there's what we call zip allowance, all right? Is one of the allowances we have when we add to clothes when sewing. That is what I just marked right now. And for this zip allowance, I'm working with 1.5, okay? 1.5 inches is my zip allowance. You use rule and connect it straight. Okay, you connect it straight. Once you connect it, you get your skirt zip. Now we have different types of zip, different length of zip, and for this one is skirt zip. Now when you place it, you mark. Now watch my marking. It's not the same length with the zip. All right, it went a little bit up. Now let's assume this skirt has slit. Okay, from here I'll measure some few inches, you see. Here where I just marked now, assume that is zip, my slit down, and the center is where I will sew. Okay, I will sew it. Now I have sewn it. You can see my stitches. This is where I sewed. I left the down and the up open. Now let me flip it. You see what I did? You see? Here is open. The down part is equally open. Okay, that is slit. The upper part is for my zip with the space where the zip will enter. Okay. Now for a beginner, you can try this out with pattern paper. Use your needle and thread and sew it. You can try this. Then once you have done, the next thing is to iron it. Now when you iron it, it makes it easy. All right. The lines just stays on its own. So it is good you iron it out so it will be well. When placing the zip on the fabric, it will be easy. Okay, now you can see I've ironed it out. This is how it looks. All right, you can see it is slapping on each other. You can easily see it when ironed. Now you place your zip under. What we are sewing right now is open zip. What is open zip? The kind of zip you fix that the teeth of the zip will be seen. You sew straight. You place the other part, all right, and equally sew. This kind of zip is called open zip, all right. You are seeing the zip teeth. When someone just look at it straight, the person will see the zip. Now you can see my sewing. All right, you can see the zip teeth from here. All right, okay, you're seeing the black teeth. That is open zip. You just sew it here, sew the other side. You can see how it is. Place it at the middle and sew. All right, this is open zip where you see the zip teeth. Now this is one of the ways you can sew your zip to your skirts, to your gown, to your blouses. All right, another thing is that, okay, waist dart in particular. All right, we will be sewing it as time goes on. Okay, in the line of this training, we'll be sewing it. So basically it is a continuous course. So let's go for the close zip. The same thing, 1.5 inches zip allowance. Now your zip allowance can be 2. As a beginner, you can start with 2. You can work with 1.5. Okay, but I'm marking 1.5. All right, so I'll connect it straight. I'm just going through the same process we went for the open zip. Is the same process for the closed zip, but there will be a difference. Right, now I place my zip where it will be. I marked. Now what I have left is small and I want a slit, so I'll just place it back. The total of this zip is 8, but I'll be going for 7. All right, 7. my zip length will be 7. It's okay with me. The remaining, I'll mark 2 inches as slits. Okay, the remaining will be just for the sewing. The same sewing I sewed, the same sewing in the same thing I did to the open zip is what I did right now. I sewed it. You can see it. That is my zip space and my slit. Okay. Now the same ironing. We're equaling it to iron. All right. I would love if you can try this out, especially if you're a beginner. Try this out. It is very important. Now I've ironed it out. This is how it came. You're seeing it now. The reason why I took this to my sewing machine, it is very important you grab what is this particular one is one of the hardest. Okay, so it requires you seeing me sew it. It's not just place the zip, you sew this side, you sew this side. No. All right. If it is that way, I would have done it and showed you. But this part, I'm starting with the first. Now the zip, the footer I'm using to sew this zip is zipper footer. Okay, it helps sewing of zip easy. Now watch what I'm sewing. I'm sewing one side first. Okay, one side of the zip is what I'm sewing. You can see how I placed it. Now just watch me while I sew. It is very delicate. All right, you sew straight down. Now once you get to the ending, that 7 inches I measured the earlier. I need to fix this very well so that you see what I'm doing. Once you get to the end of that 7 inches, all right, you use your pin to hold your dress down. Then you take the other side and flip it up to cover. Now, if it warrants you folding the down a little bit, like very tiny, you fold. Okay, but you have to place the other part to cover the zip teeth properly before you do the crossing. Hope you're seeing what I'm doing seriously, because this particular zipper is lands properly well when you're there sewing it. The video may not show it properly, but let's go. So you can see I turned it. Before turning it, I used the other parts that I've not sewn to place on the zipper, on the foot, not on the foot, on the zip teeth. Then I crossed it over. This is crossing the zip teeth to the other side. You can see I've moved to the other side. Okay, now you can see me. I make sure I place it. You see my placing it is covering the zip teeth. You're not seeing it. You are not seeing the teeth. I make sure it covers it. Now I'll continue. So this sewing includes the zip fabric. Like I'm sewing the fabric and the zipper together and the zip together. That means this particular one I'm sewing now is bigger. The fabric came out more. Now it's very easy if you can try it out. All right. Now you see what I did. It is covering it. The tricky thing in there is once you get to the end, before you turn your zip, make sure the other part of the fabric is covering perfectly well. If you're looking at it from the back, it will look like the same thing I did for the open, but it's not the same. Now, you're that. All right. Now, 4 inches. I'm going for 4 inches by 5 inches length. How we sew our dart. So As time goes on, whenever you see that sewing, you understand what I mean. This is 4 inches by width and length is 5 inches. It shouldn't get to the hip line. So that is it. You fold it into 2. That place you marked for. Then you come to your tape this way, mark 1/2 inches. What is it called? That intake. If you watch my earlier video of that, you know what that intake is. That 1/2 inches is what we call that intake. Okay, so that is it. What you just do is follow my hand and sew. Very easy. So let's do that together. Okay, so you see what I'm talking about. Now, this especially those that have no idea about fashion and beginners, if you don't know how to fix your zip, the first thing you do is get a pattern paper, use your needle and thread and sew this 2 zipper first. Okay, we did that. Try it out on pattern paper first before trying it out on fabric. Okay, so this is it. Now, this fabric I just used in this pattern practical right now, I did the cutting of, the width is 10. Okay, the length is about 14 inches, 10 by 14 inches. Okay, and you can see this dart is making it look like is a skirt. You know, the dart is giving it that shapy, that skirt shape. That is the importance of that. It snatches the waist and projects the hip. Okay, important of ways that the same that I sewed is equally what I'm sewing here. You can see how it is. So let's keep sewing. Remember guys, if you have not joined my free online class on WhatsApp, the link is on my profile on my channel. All right, click on it and join the group. It's free. All right, and if you have any question, drop it on the comment section or you send it directly to me on my WhatsApp. Now you can see we basically have a skirt. We did not cut it, or it's just a straight skirt that we just got two pieces together, but it's giving us that skirt shape. Okay, because of the dart. All right, so I would love it if you can try this. All right, use pattern paper first, use hand needle and tack it. If for those that already know how to do it, all right, don't worry, we'll be entering the advance very soon. So this is how you sew your skirt. If you have not subscribed, do subscribe.